Recording in progress.
Alright, we should be able to start. Hopefully he'll join in.
All right, we will call the Green Bay Sex Offender Residency Board to meet. We need roll call.
I have captured who's present.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
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 Okay. Can we get a motion to approve the minutes from the July 19th, 2023 meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second it. I'll second.
All right. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, our first regular business is the appeal of Todd Dupuis?
Dupuis, ma'am.
Dupuis?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Who's requesting to move to 1047 Dousman Street, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you can come on up and have a seat here. If I remember, were you here once before, back in 2019?
2018, ma'am, I believe it was.
2018 you
It
were
was
here?
2018, ma'am.
Okay, it looks like my records show 2019 February, and we approved you at that time to move to 1116 Stewart Street?
It could have been, ma'am. I don't
Okay.
remember. I thought it was 18 because I don't remember going through the winter living in hotels, motels and all that.
Okay,
I could, you got it, whichever you have,
Sure.
ma'am, what it is.
so what happened to the 1116 Stewart Street? How come you don't live there anymore?
Because I have the same landlord. My landlord there owns a property on that west side. So it's a two-bedroom, and I have a Down syndrome daughter. I've got a group home close from her, me and her mother take care of her. I have her 6 days a week, but just 2 nights a week she stays with me. The rest of the time she's with her mother. Her mother is her guardian. And our group home close, so that's how we do it. I wanted her to have her own bedroom. I had to sleep on the couch every time she stayed over. Which was just Monday, just Fridays and Mondays. And the only reason that is, ma'am, is because of wrestling. Her mother on cable.
Oh, okay.
Just saying, that's what it is.
Oh, okay, sure.
I do her shots, I do her meals, we have to, you know.
Okay, so we don't really have much of what you were convicted of. So I'm going to ask you to tell us, about your offense. But when you do talk about it, we don't want you to list or name
Oh, yes, ma'am.
the victim or the relationship, okay? So go ahead and tell us what you were convicted of or arrested for.
I was convicted of and
Okay.
arrested for, ma'am.
Sure.
Of sexual assault of a 16-year-old girl and pornography, possession of pornography of this incident back in 2000.
I'm sorry, could you be moved a little closer to the mic? Can't really hear him.
I don't have a mic, ma'am. Sir.
Could you speak up?
I'll talk louder, I might. Want to start over?
Yeah, please.
In 2012, the incident happened in 2012, I was convicted of assault of a 16-year-old, sexual assault of a 16-year-old, and have a pornography of the event. That was my 2 charges.
Possession of pornography of that event?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I was sentenced to 5 years in prison for this, and 4 years probation after I got out. I completed the 5 years. I completed the probation in June of 2022. Yeah, 18 to 22, yes.
Okay. We're going to ask you to be a little bit more specific about the assault on the 16-year-old. So, how did it come to happen? What happened?
See, I knew the girl through her mother, and her mother wanted me to take her fishing, and she liked fishing, this and that. And then that last couple months, you know, and then it just started, she started, I ain't blaming her, ma'am, I ain't blaming her myself. I'm the adult, I'm responsible, but I was in a bad place, I guess. I was stupid, I just went and we had sex. We both wanted to have sex. I don't know why I did this. I'm completely responsible, nobody else is. And I think about it every day. I thought about it back then. I thought, well, this, you know, I wasn't taking responsibility back then. It took me a while to come to grips. I went to 2 sex offender classes, in and out. And I realized, you know, to this day, I still think about it. I mean,
Did it happen just one time?
just the one time.
Okay. And when you say you had pornography of the event, did you videotape it? Did you take
It
pictures?
was on a camera, a video camera back then.
Okay, so you, like a video recording?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. And then how did the police get involved? How did they know that you did this?
Because when my son was staying with me, wasn't staying with me. I drove truck, I was out of town, I was stayed every night, back and forth. And he stayed at my house and said he was looking for a pair of shorts to wear, and the house was hot. And he found this DVD in the drawer, and he plopped it in a PlayStation in my daughter's bedroom, and he saw it, and he called the cops. Just like that.
And so then, when the police finally approached you on it,
They called me, ma'am. They called me that night in
Oh.
Illinois. I was on my way back to Wisconsin. They told me they'd come down to the police station the next morning and talk with them. And they told me what this was about. So I knew. I knew what it was about before I got back in town. I went down at like 10 o'clock that morning and was arrested there and sent to Brown County Jail from there.
okay. All right.
This happened in 2012, and I went to prison on July 10th of 2013.
Lieutenant Allen, is that version accurate according to the criminal complaint?
According to the criminal complaint, the victim, there was 3 counts that were charged out. 2 of those counts, the victim was 15 years old, and one of the counts, the victim was 16 years old. So, partial truth, but she was under the age of 16 during 2 of those counts.
Okay. So you said it only happened once?
Yes, ma'am, and it did. And that's what I had. I don't have that paper with me, but the original report. I got the whole thing from the law office. Maybe I'm wrong. That's what they charged me with. I know that one.
Okay.
One was one count of having sex with a 16-year-old girl, and 1 count of child pornography. That's what I had.
Okay,
I would have to.
all right.
But it was only one count, one.
It only happened one
It only
time?
happened one time, 'cause, no, not 15 years, but that's what he has, I don't know.
He's saying that, according to the criminal complaint, it sounds like there were 2 prior incidents, but she was only 15 at the time.
No,
Okay.
I wish I could just,
Okay, because, we do have your judgment of conviction.
yes, ma'am.
And on there, you had 6 counts that you were originally charged with.
I don't know.
When you went to court.
Counts I was charged with, ma'am, but I know what I was convicted of.
Right, but so initially, you were charged, as the lieutenant said, 2 counts of second-degree sexual assault of a child. Then you had sexual exploitation, that's the video.
Yes.
Then you had sex with a child age 16 or older, possession of child pornography, and sex with child age 16 or older. Those first two, the second-degree sexual assault, those charges the courts dismissed. But you were convicted and found guilty on all four of those other ones.
Yes, ma'am. I was
Okay.
just reading.
Okay, I just wanted to refresh your memory. Okay, does anyone have questions for him regarding his offense?
Was the victim aware that they were being video recorded?
Yes, sir. She knew, well, I just what I told the court at the time was she was supposed to take that with her, she did, it was in my drawer, and that's the way it was, and I'm taking full responsibility for it. I mean, she was aware, yes, she was aware, because she knew where it was,
And how old were you
57 or 58,
when you were 57 when it happened?
57, 58, I'm 68 now, 57,
Okay,
yes, ma'am.
all right. Anyone else have questions?
None here.
Okay. So Todd, we have the opportunity to discuss any treatment that you may have gone through, and we can do that in closed session, or we would remain in public session.
I have nothing to hide.
Okay, so why don't you tell us what kind of treatment you completed? On your application, you do state that in 2018 in Green Bay you did.
Yes, ma'am, I have that one here through Attic Correctional Services Incorporated. It's over here on Monroe, and
Yeah.
it should be down at the corner of Webster and Walnut.
And which course did you complete with them?
Well, I have a course here as a licensed solicitor, I don't know how you, it was a sex offender class, assault class.
Could we just have a,
Yeah, I'd
could we
like you
see
to
that?
see it,
Because
but
I
I
don't
can't-
remember any of that being in your packet.
I can't explain it anyway, man. This is one I took out of prison, and this is in prison.
Okay. All right, so Todd has presented us a letter dated February 18th of 2019 from Attic Correctional Services stating that, let's see here, you are scheduled for a housing review in the near future and signed a release of information. He started aftercare. Well, let's see here, hold on. Yeah. You started aftercare group on August 27th of 2018 and completed 20 sessions. He participated in discussions and accepted feedback. He asked questions to gain more understanding of concepts, follows his rules of supervision, and appears to be applying concepts into his lifestyle. He takes responsibility for a sex offense and did not minimize, deny, or place blame elsewhere. I'll pass this along, I'll just share the other ones. We also have a certificate of completion from Red Granite Correctional Institute that he completed sex offender treatment 2 in May of 2017. Oh, it looks like we've got, you were in the Marine Corps? Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
correct? Okay. HSED, okay, the rest are just,
It's all the stuff I did in
Sure.
prison, ma'am. I took a Bible study class, I took my HSED, I took, I can't remember which one.
yeah. So right now, you're not taking any classes,
No,
right?
I'm
Because you've
retired.
already,
I retired in June of 2021, fully retired. Take care of my daughter, we do things together every day. I mean, she's with, if I didn't have her, I wouldn't have nothing to do, seriously. 'Cause I don't have a lot. That's not what you say, she spends a lot of time with me, and that's the way I like her.
okay.
Man, I also, just so you know, I don't drink or smoke. I quit back in 2012, of course, when I never started, but I just don't have it. And we do go to Able Church every Friday night, me and my daughters for handicap, and people like from Sparrow, which I know most of them, because I used to do lunch back there in the early 2000s every Wednesday, when my daughter worked there. My daughter is now 39 years old, like I said, and she's diabetic. And
Okay, all right. But so once you completed that sex offender treatment at the attic, was that it? You did no more treatment? You,
Oh, I
you
had treatment outside with a lady in Green Bay here, 2 separate ones. Attic, oh, after attic, no ma'am, I'm sorry, you said prison, then attic, yes. I had 2 different classes.
so you did the one in prison and the one
Yes,
at
ma'am.
attic?
Yeah.
And then after that, you graduated, you're good, you didn't need treatment anymore?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I was glad to take both of them because I learned a lot from the stuff,
Okay.
you know.
I know it's been a long time, but could you just kind of share what you learned?
I learned that not to say, you know, like a lot of these guys, you know, I name them, you were group sessions. In prison, a lot of guys left the group, they didn't want to talk about it. I had no problem. I got very emotional in these things because of my daughter, because being where I was put a big hardship on her. And I learned that. A lot of people go, well, woe is me, I'm the one that's being, it turns out, you know, it's not that way. I was an adult, 50 years old, 57, whatever. And I don't know what, I can't, I'm not making excuses, take responsibility. I'm the adult, I could say no. I could have been the one to not let this happen, either one of those, and I didn't. But most of it I learned is by bringing it out, bringing it all out, every detail, everything that happened in these groups, it helped you cope with it. You always feel bad, but to this day, I got my bracelet off the other day and I feel good about that because I don't qualify to wear it, so I finally changed it. But other than that, ma'am, it was like, I don't have any real friends anymore. People don't. I am, I don't. And that's all I concentrate on, is taking care of her. And I'm a homebody, and we don't do nothing else, but we ride, she has a dog bike, I got a regular bike, we ride bike, we go bowling, we go thrift store shopping, and we watch wrestling. And they take care of her. And that's all I want to do until my time comes. So be it. But I have one friend that I grew up with, I talked to, my brother, of course, my ex-wife. I have a couple sisters, but we don't talk anymore.
Because of the incident?
Well, one of them, I believe my sister Rochelle, yeah, because of the incident, but my other sister is because we used to talk twice a week, and we used to go up there, and then we talk on speakerphone in the middle of this. It was stupid because we got an argument over Joe Biden.
Oh, well, we don't need to
I'm
discuss
just saying,
that
well,
yet.
she says something over the phone on the speaker. I said, you're on speaker. She used effort, and Monique can hear it all. And I told her Monique can hear that she's on speaker, and she said, I don't give a, you know what?
That's okay, we'll leave that
I'm
family
just saying, that's why I
problem
don't
at
talk to her anymore.
Sure.
I can't. I like to talk-
Okay, well, I don't want to stop you, but I want to make sure that the board, you know, because we really were kind of talking about your treatment, and then you kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent. Does anyone have questions about his treatment?
Down here.
Okay, all right. Okay, so you've kind of talked about, you know, things that you do at home right now. You're retired, you really kind of take care of your daughter and the various things that you are doing. You made a comment about your bracelet just getting taken off. Were you on a bracelet because you were homeless?
No, ma'am.
Why were you on a bracelet?
Because the state deemed everybody to be on a bracelet if you had more than one offense. It's what it is, ma'am, they overturned it, the Scott Supreme Court. What I understand, they call me from Madison. I was convicted of 2 offenses, 2 felonies in one case. Well, before it was, if you convicted more than one felony, you were on it for life, no matter how many cases. If you gotta have separate cases, ma'am. And that's why they took it off.
Okay,
I didn't ask them to, I was surprised when they did. But I didn't mind wearing this bracelet at all because that bracelet is an insurance policy for
Yeah.
me. Because people can lie on you, and I didn't mind wearing it for that reason alone. But I don't mind it being off either, because
okay. Now, are you already residing at the 1047 Dousman?
that was the big issue, because when I got off of paper in 2000, what did I say, 2020, when I got off of parole, a year ago, basically, in June, it was the 18th of June of last year, Kenny comes up and says, I got this 2-bedroom, and you always know I want a 2-bedroom over in Dousman. So I went and looked at the aisle. I never, this is just me, because I don't understand why I didn't think of it, but I'm thinking I'm off of paper, I don't have to go in front of a board no more. And that's not true, and Kenny didn't even know it. I wish he would have told me, I didn't move, I would have never moved. Because sooner or later, it's gonna get you. Why would I do something like this? And I did, and I never knew it till the day the police came to my house.
Oh, so they came to your house to say you're living here in violation?
Yes, because
And that's what,
I'm not 1116. I called Madison when I moved. I called Madison, and I called the monitoring system there, but I thought this was, well, it doesn't work that way. It
Yeah.
doesn't get, this lady, the count for Round County, her last name is Peterson. She's in charge of all the secretaries of Round County, I guess. And I never knew she existed. I didn't have appeal no more, I didn't,
okay. So you had been living there for well over a year? So
No,
you were
ma'am.
just, oh,
not a year. That's since last October I moved in there.
okay.
And I didn't know that I couldn't.
And then when did the police come to your house? What month was that?
It was this month on the 2nd or the 3rd. It was 16 days before that, because I had to wait 16 days to see the board, and I couldn't stay there.
Okay,
Can't reside there, basically.
Okay.
You can't reside there. So I've been living I was living at Motel 6, and I was living at Tower Motel till this came up,
okay.
till last night, and I had to get out. And it cost me a lot of money, but that's my own fault, I know that.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions for him?
I just have one question. On the appeal form where it says, how do you feel this sexual crime affected your victim? But I really know how or what she is doing. I didn't quite understand.
I really don't know how and what she's doing now. No, I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
I ain't gonna get into details with what, but no, I don't know what she's doing. I mean, back then, I didn't know. I mean, I'd see her in court.
Well, we don't want to know, like,
I don't know.
what she's doing now. We want to know, how do you think she feels? Do you think that what happened between you and her years ago affects her now today?
No, ma'am, I don't, because I know back then, no, I don't think it does, not now. Maybe then, yes. That's just my opinion, I don't.
Did you not cover that topic at all during your
I don't remember
treatment?
we covered it, ma'am, but I don't remember if we covered it or not, to be honest with you, but I just don't know. I don't know how she's doing now, I can't just my opinion. She's a very strong girl, she very smart. I think she just moved on.
Okay. Does anyone have anything to say after that?
Nothing here.
Not to that, but I have some concerns. I'm uncomfortable with the location of it. I don't know if you've looked into where the address is, but it's literally next door, or behind the property is the public swimming pool, and this park is within a couple hundred feet, less than a couple hundred feet. And then with the videotaping of it, it's kind of an escalating factor for me, so I kind of feel uncomfortable about this application. If it was a little bit further away from the park, I might be more apt to approve it, but right now I feel uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Allen has something just from the police perspective for the board. I wanted to make sure that you guys are all aware of that. Todd recently had some charges forwarded over to him, or over to the Brown County District Attorney's Office for his activity at Lincoln Elementary School over the past month. He's been over there. We were contacted by Sandra Peterson with the DOC advising that his GPS had been plotting him over at the park. Now, it's an elementary school that does have a basketball hoop, but like they said, Alex said, his relationship to his residence to Fisk Park would be a much closer area for him to go play basketball versus elementary school that was in session. He was approached by school staff and he failed to let them know that he was a registered sex offender, and then he was not completely truthful with police about how many times he had been going to the elementary school to play basketball over the course of the last month. I believe he at first admitted to 1 time, then he admitted to 3 times, but his GPS had him plotting there a total of 4 times. I'll break for questions.
So when were those charges sent over to the DA's office or referred?
Last week. He was cited for the sex offender registration violation. I believe that's a municipal ordinance for him for living on the Dawson Street address without the board's approval. And then he was, had the 4 charges of failure of a sex offender to notify a school, referred over to the DA's office. And I don't believe we have a charging decision on that yet, but charges were forwarded over to the Brown County District Attorney's Office.
Okay, thank you.
Can I
Okay,
respond, ma'am? The lady, the hard thing with the school, I talked to a teacher over there. I talked to the teacher, I told her, I didn't know they had summer school going, and I left at that time. She said, at 3 o'clock, everybody's gone out of here. They want to shoot buck, because they use the playground behind the basketball court. And I was fine, so yes, I was over there 4 times. But I did talk to somebody there. But
okay. Well, right now, where we're sitting, Todd, is where someone here on the board has to make a motion, basically to decide whether or not we're going to let you reside there. Actually, before we do that, are you here to speak on his behalf?
I'm his brother.
But are you here to speak on his
Yes.
behalf? Okay, we should have you come up, and then we're gonna need you just to state your name and address for the record,
Okay.
so that, we have that.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yep.
I do have another question
Sure.
while we're waiting. Is this here, that you're involved with Able Church?
Yes, every Friday, 6:30, we go to the church. Pastor Tim and Janice run it there.
Okay, so you go there regularly, or?
I only missed twice in 5 years. You can ask Pastor Tim
Yeah.
that.
Are you involved with any of their groups there?
No, when I would join Pastor, when I went there, I explained to Pastor Tim per PO about my situation was, I was on paper, I was wearing a bracelet, my crime, I talked to him about and everything, to make sure I could be there, and he okayed everything. And been going there ever since. My daughter, she used to work with a lot of those people at Sparrow. She hasn't been there since 2009. So most people still do it, I know a lot of them.
Did you ask if they have any kind of a mentorship program that you
What?
could, a mentorship program there that somebody with the church could be with you? As far as, it sounds like you don't get out, you don't do much.
No, we go there, no, we're all sitting, it's what it is, you got Living Hope Church in front, Able Church in the back. It's like gym, basically, with a stage. And chairs, and we do sermons, they do their puppet things, they do their singing on top, well, people don't want to sing. Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting right there next to other people.
Yeah, but what I mean is, you said that you don't get out, you don't do many.
No, if I go
Outside
out,
things.
when I get out, I go out and I'll go my shopping. Me and my daughter go bike riding every day, she's over there in the summer. She has a stationary bike in the house in the living room, she rides, because she's only 4'8", 202 pounds. So I'm trying to maintain her weight there. She put on a lot of weight over last year. But we go bowling in the winter every weekend. We go bowling. I get out, it's just,
Okay.
I do a lot of thrift store shopping. I go to Christian Outreach once a week because I like the place and they got a lot of good stuff there. I get out, but I just,
Okay.
I go bike ride in the morning by myself. I was okay to do that. I just can't reside there. I go to my bike and I ride up the trail past Oneida, all the way to past Military, that trail. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
You
a
may
lot
want
of-
to check with the church and see if they have any other programs there, other people that you can connect with and.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. They got Camp Daniel,
Yep.
but my daughter can't do Camp Daniel. Her mother won't let her. You know, they stayed there for a week. This ain't gonna work being
Yeah.
diabetic and all that. And we we go to the cookouts. We just had an outside cookout and served outside last Friday. And of course, my daughter didn't go because she wanted to watch SmackDown, which is on regular TV on Friday, so I just went by myself. I go no matter what.
All right.
Thanks.
Why don't you come up and, you can sit next to your brother
Sure.
and, basically tell us why, what you know about your brother and why you think that he should be approved to reside there.
Okay. Well, he did make a mistake, obviously, not getting approval to go there. My brother hasn't really done anything to, I would say, he's good. He hasn't done anything to warrant not to be where he's living, okay? For him to go into a park, I'm a little vague on this, is that a misdemeanor for him to go to a park? Can I ask that question?
You know, she's talking with the school basketball.
Is that a misdemeanor or a felon?
Well, Lieutenant
Somebody up
Allen,
there?
do you know that answer? For him to be on the
Because it looks like he's gonna be
year?
charged with something here.
Well, I'm off paper, so I talked to the lady, the two police officers that came to my house, said that was a misdemeanor, and I
Okay.
don't go back there. I said, that's fine. And she
Okay.
said something, why don't you go to the park next door here? You gotta know Fisk Park, it can
Yeah.
be shady at that
So
basketball.
it sounded like when it was talked about here, that it was a very serious situation. And no, if he doesn't belong there, he doesn't belong there. That's fine, but he's done everything. His daughter's Down syndrome, okay? My granddaughter's Down syndrome, so we have a little experience there. And when he was in prison, I made sure that Monique, looked after her, okay? He's a very good dad. If it wasn't for her, I don't know what he would do, okay? He lives for his daughter, and have a two-bedroom place for her to stay and to have a home like that to come to is very important for her welfare and her livelihood. And he takes good care of her. Before he went into prison, her weight was under control. He had custody at that time. He was the custodial parent, but when he had to go to prison, he had to give that up. And she's, like he says, very, very large now, and she's very unhealthy that way with the diabetes and stuff. So he's the reason that she keeps going the way she is. And he has her all the time. For him to be over on Stewart Street, which was probably a better location because it wasn't by a park, wasn't a very nice place at all. It was a slum house. It was falling up. You could put a marble and it would roll down to the center of the floor. I told him, you gotta get out of there. It's gonna fall on your head. One bedroom, he slept on the couch. Same guy owns this place, so he moved over there. Seemed like a seamless situation. Yeah, it was by a park, but he had a one-time offense, and it wasn't right, and he took responsibility for it, as he stated. He isn't gonna offend again. He is not interested in kids to begin with, other than his own daughter, who's a 39-year-old woman now, okay? And as a caretaker. So, no, there's no reason not to let him have. He's paying rent for a place that he got thrown out of, because he made a mistake. And he's been living, he could stay by me. I'm about 25 miles out of town, and he's going back and forth 4 times a day. If that wasn't convenient, so he'd rather stay in these motels, because this thing's gonna have to be solved one way or the other, period. Either he's gonna be, living in hotels, or he's gonna have to find a place outside of Green Bay, which isn't easy to do either, because he's already looked outside of Green Bay, and he's been turned down because they check out his record. And that's a big problem, to find a place to live. So that is an issue. The landlord he has understands the situation, is willing to rent to him. And if he was a little further up on the law, he wouldn't have probably moved over there if the landlord knew what he was, obviously. But then again, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So my brother had that one incident in his whole life. He's, 68 now? 68 years old. I'm not downplaying it. It was a major deal. He's going to wear that the rest of his life. It's something, even my two sisters disown him pretty much for that, actually, to be truthful with you. And people make mistakes. Now, either you do something about it and you go to jail, you serve your time, but if you rob a bank or commit murder, you get out, it's over. When you're a sex offender, you live with it the rest of your life, period. Okay, I understand he has some concern about videotaping. That was a one-time thing. Yes, I don't know why. Anyway, I understand his concern, but it's not a real problem where he's so located. It just isn't. He's not that kind of person, period. I don't know. It's just, I get frustrated sometimes because you're carrying this around with you the rest of your life. How many of you people here want to do that? I mean, if you make the mistake, I made mistakes in my life. I'm 71 years old, okay? And I made mistakes in my life and never made that kind of mistake, but you got to work yourself through your mistakes and move on. And he can't move on. Not while he's living in Green Bay, he can't. And Green Bay designed this so people like him wouldn't live here. Well, let's be honest about that. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is.
No, I
If
understand.
you look at the map, when they came up with this, it's the only, I don't know, however, whether other communities do this, but it's really restrictive. So, the fact that he's off paper, he served his probation, he's low risk, or they wouldn't have took the thing off his ankle, there should be no reason he can't reside next to Fisk Park. I'm sorry.
Okay,
That's what I got to say.
all right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. All right, I'm sorry, did anybody have questions for him before I let him go?
None here.
No.
Okay. Do we want to have a discussion, maybe before anyone makes a motion? I'm gonna just kind of throw out things that are going through my head right now. I appreciate the information from Lieutenant Allen about, there could be some possible charges. I'm not really quite sure that I should take those into considerations yet because you haven't been convicted of anything yet. I appreciate, what you're doing for your daughter. I mean, obviously you've stayed out of trouble for quite some time. You did your treatment. The thing that I have a very hard time with was your response when he asked you about, did you write that on your application about how the victim felt? And you think she's just done and over with I mean, even though you went through treatment, I know they focus on that. I know they focus on how a victim is gonna feel the rest of their life. And for this to have happened, a little bit 10 years ago, and now she's, in her late 20s, she probably has some feelings of what occurred between you and her. So I do have some reservations because of that response, but that's my feeling right now. I don't know how anybody else or where they're feeling or their thoughts are.
I agree. That's why I asked about it. The way it's written here, I wasn't really sure what you meant by it, but I know the treatment programs they have, they do talk about it a lot. And I know from my own personal aspect, there are things that happen in our childhood that affect us for the rest of our life. Whether it was our fault or not. There are things that other people do to us. So it involves a lot of guilt, it involves shame, it involves their life every day. That even though they might not be thinking about it, mentally it's still there. Those things do happen. So I was a little bit concerned about that, but after looking at all the other stuff you have here in your book, it looks like you've been working pretty hard on improving yourself, and trying to make your life better, your daughter's life better. So with that, I guess, is it possible to make a motion for a temporary?
Yeah, but do you guys have anything, Alex or Dominique, anything you want to talk about or say?
Nothing additional.
Okay, you can go ahead and, okay, make whatever kind of motion you are thinking.
Yes, well, I'd like to make a motion for address specific for like 90 days to see how things are gonna go there, you know, as far as what's going on with this other situation. I know we can't really take that into consideration because you haven't been charged with anything. But since it was only like a week ago, if we could make it for like a 90-day, is that possible?
Well, that's your motion.
Okay, that's my
Yeah.
motion.
Is there a second for that? Okay. Well, so that motion failed. Do either of you have a motion? Or any further discussion?
I would just make a motion, or I move to deny the request to move to Dousman.
Okay, is there a second for that? Okay, so that motion fails. Dominique, what are you kind of thinking there?
I would be fine. I'll make a motion to move address specific with no time limit for him to come back. He hasn't been convicted of the other crimes, so I don't think we should check on that in 90 days.
Okay, is there a second for that?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor for that motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. All right, so, Todd, why is that echoing like that? Anybody know?
Feedback.
Dominique's mic.
Oh, okay. So Todd, you are approved to stay at that address. Okay, I mean, obviously you've heard a lot of concerns. I mean, I can't tell you what to do, but I would hope that you would take into consideration the fact that you are very close to a park, and kind of just watch your actions.
Ma'am, me and my daughter ride by that park all the way up Dawson every day on the sidewalk.
That's okay, you can
Just
ride
let you
past
know
it.
that It's not on the park, but I don't go into the park.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know what to say about the thing with the school. I talked to the lady there.
Well, I would really probably, if I were you, I probably wouldn't want to talk about that too much, because if you are going to get charged with something, I wouldn't want anything you say here to be held, against you while you're in court.
I just want to understand it.
Yeah.
I have no interest in kids. I
Okay.
didn't
Another
then, I just.
comment. The place that you're looking at, is there a possibility of setting up a basketball hoop there?
That's the first thing I was gonna do if I got approved to stay there, is buy one. We got a big, there's 3 houses there, sir. He owns all 3 of them. Mine in the front, one in the back, one next door. It's all blacktop. It's a big area where the garages are. And I was thinking about that. I could buy me a hoop and put it in there for me and my daughter. She shoots too, you know. And I have taken her to a park, parked on the road, if you know that area, where there used to be a Hanson, there's a park, and there's a school, and there's a street. And I sat in my car and I called Madison, and they said, yeah, we see you, you're good. She's playing in there, because I could see her, she's close. Because she fell down before and fractured her ankle because she didn't grab the pole. You know, and I just make sure I don't go in it, I just park there.
All right. Well, you are approved to reside there. Again, if you ever decide that you're going to move from there, you do have to come back before
Oh,
us.
yes, ma'am, I will.
Okay.
I don't plan on moving there. If I do move, ma'am, it'll be out of Green Bay,
Okay,
out of De Pere, it'll be Appleton or somewhere far away.
all right,
But just so I can still get my daughter.
sure. All right, well, good luck.
Thank
We'll
you.
mail that to the 1054. Lieutenant Allen, thank you for helping us out tonight.
10:47.
10:47, I'm sorry. 10:47, we'll mail that too. Yep, you're good to go.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yep, good night. All right, is there any other business that we need to talk about? Okay, if we can just get a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
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 All right, thank you, see you next month.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Recording stopped.
All right. That was a lot longer than I had anticipated.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll be home by 4:30. No, maybe I won't be home by 4:30.